Hello, my name is Brendan O'Connell. I'm a grassroots member of the West Roxbury-Rosendale chapter of Massachusetts Citizens for Life, which was started over 30 years ago by Claire Donahoe and Margaret O'Hara. Our chapter believes that this television show named Life Matters is vitally important for all Bostonians, whether they're residents, folks working in Boston, teenagers, college students, politicians, or whomever. Today's television program examines another aspect of the broad mosaic of the Right to Life movement, those folks who protest and raise awareness in front of local community hospitals that perform abortions. Who are these people? Why are they raising awareness that the local hospital is doing abortions? If they are religious in any way, should their voice be automatically dismissed, as the pro-abortionists would like you to believe? Does their presence outside the hospital strike a raw nerve in hospital management and the local community? Today's guest will answer these questions and much, much more. I think you'll find today's show to be unique, informative, content-rich, truthful, and thought-provoking. Today's guest was born in Dayton, Ohio, and raised in Greenwich, Connecticut. He graduated from Yale University in 1953 with a bachelor's degree in English. He's left no dangling participles, he assures me. And after graduation, he entered the U.S. Navy and served as an officer engaged in the Korean War for 5 years until 1958. He then worked in the United States Foreign Service until his retirement in 1991. He has had assignments in such faraway lands as India, Pakistan, Egypt, France, and in various assignments in Africa. He's a former board member of Massachusetts Citizens for Life and resides with his wife, Robbie, in Sherborne, Massachusetts. Well, welcome to our guest, Charles Coudert.
Thanks very much, Brendan, for inviting me to be here today.
Nice to have you. Before we get started, I just would like to mention our call-in phone number. Should our guests have any questions regarding raising community awareness that abortions are happening at your local hospital. The call-in number is 617-973-4848. Well, one of the themes of this TV show, Charles, is to highlight the broad mosaic of the Right to Life movement. How did you get involved in protesting outside a community hospital?
Well, some 5 years ago, I was a Eucharistic minister at the Leonard Morris Hospital, which is part of the Metro West Medical Center. That's in Natick, Massachusetts. And I was invited to a pastoral care department lunch. And in the meantime, I'd learned that abortions were going on in the other hospital run by Metro West, which is the Framingham Union Hospital. I'd learned that through Massachusetts Citizens for Life, which puts out information on this sort of thing. And we sat through the lunch, and there was people from different religions and different interests and so forth, and they were talking about a healing presence, and it was all very nice. And we were given the opportunity to speak, and I spoke 2 or 3 sentences, and this is what I said. I said, the month of October is dedicated to respect for life, and therefore it's particularly fitting that we remember in prayer the hundreds of children who have died in abortions at Framingham Union Hospital, as well as their wounded mothers and fathers. Also, let us ask for healing for the doctors, nurses, technicians, administrators, and social workers who perform, assist, or facilitate these abortions. For this we pray to the Lord. Now, this was a rather radical thing to say. I don't know whether it was the devil or the Holy Spirit that prompted me to do it, but it was said. And afterwards, the supervisor of the pastoral people told me that, I could express my opinions outside the hospital, but she would prefer that I not do it inside the hospital. Well, I thought about it, and I felt that I had to do something more than just speak up once at a luncheon. And so I decided to organize some prayer vigils. I went to Framingham, to St. Stephen's Church, Father Stankart there, Albert Stankart, and got his support. And so we organized vigils. We eventually they were held. We decided to hold them on the 3rd Saturday of every month. We start with Mass at St. Stephen's Hospital, and then we walk to the Framingham Union Hospital where the abortions are done, singing hymns and praying the rosary, and then we return doing the same thing. So
how long are you at the hospital itself?
oh, we're there maybe 10 minutes or so.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So how long does the whole procession take then?
Oh, maybe 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We copy something done by Monsignor Philip Riley in New York. He does the same thing, and he put out a big booklet of prayers and songs and so forth, and we just use a small portion of that.
I see. Very interesting. I had a similar experience when I worked for a large company here in Boston, and we were just bringing it up in casual conversation at our work area, and before you know it, I was called into an office and admonished not to talk about the whole abortion issue because someone's feelings might get hurt. So, anyways, well, let me ask you, why do you protest and to raise the level of abortions being performed? Why do you go about this and that sort of thing?
Well, we do two things. One, we're praying, and we're trying to get God's attention and have him intervene and encourage people to stop killing other people in the hospital, because that's exactly what goes on. Doctors kill other human beings. And we want to get God's attention, of course. And then also, of course, we would like to have the attention of any passersby, any doctors, any nurses.
Are they driving by in automobiles, or are they?
Yes, they come by in automobiles and they walk in. It's a regular, Saturday morning traffic. Hospitals are busy every day of the week. And so that's what we do.
I see. Well, let's take a moment now and see on video exactly what all is involved and what it is that you do, so that our viewers can have a sense of what it is involved with a pro-life vigil and what goes on. So if you could roll the tape, please. Thank you so much.
Mass at St. Stephen's Church in Framingham, 8 o'clock Saturday morning. These people are here to pray, and they're here to protest. They're preparing for a prayer vigil against abortion.
Let us go up to the hospital with love and faith. Love for those children, God's precious children, and faith that God can fill the hearts of their mothers with love and trust in Him.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus.
Down the street from this church lies Framingham Union Hospital, a community hospital many call their birthplace. Here, doctors deliver babies that are wanted. And it is also here that doctors abort babies unwanted by their parents. Somewhere between 80 to 200 unborn children are aborted each year at Framingham Union.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us.
Abortion has become so commonplace. It could happen in your neighborhood, it could happen down the street, it could happen in the local doctor's office or in your community hospital, and you may not even know about it. And if you know, do you care? Or if you care, do you care enough to do something about it? I call myself a Catholic, and my faith in my heart tells me that abortion is wrong. Yet sometimes I feel complicit. I feel that by doing nothing, I'm allowing this to happen. Someone once said, for evil to succeed, all that is needed is for good men to do nothing. I finally realized I had to do something about abortions at the hospital. These vigils are a start.
Well, the fact that we get together and march up the street praying makes us visible. And it can give a lot of people courage to do the same, or in some way in their own lives, have the courage to speak up and speak out for life. Prayer is very powerful. Someone once said that there's more things wrought by prayer than this world dreams of. So we pray.
Eve without original sin. Pray for us. Mystical Rose. Pray for us. Tower of David. Pray for us.
Women deserve better than abortion. They need the loving support of the baby's father, family, and friends. And when this is not available, they need us, the people who believe in life. Do women know? Do they really feel like they have a choice? Do they know that there's financial help available, material help, adoption services? This prayer vigil is an attempt to show that we care and that we want to help. Let us pray that, like Mary, we may go quickly to support pregnant women. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Well, we hope that we can move God to move hearts, and for people to realize the seriousness of abortion, of ending the life of a human being. People like John Paul II, who said the dignity of America, a sign of her greatness, is that she stands up for the most vulnerable and the most unprotected within her shores. Someday, all of us could be considered disposable. And how would we feel about that?
It's not easy to be out here in all kinds of weather, but if we save one baby, it's worth it. We need more people to speak up with us. We want to reach a tipping point. If just one more person becomes involved, things could change.
Keep your faith up high and your love for God's children. We must, even this day, as we go back to our duties and our concerns, let us often offer up what we do to God, that he might inspire women to love their children, to love life, and for all people to respect life in the womb and in every other epoch and stage of life. God bless you all, and thank you for coming.
Has anyone in the hospital or community objected to your activities, or does it strike a raw nerve?
Well, we've had one incident in the hospital that was rather striking. In addition to doing the prayer vigils on Tuesdays, we say the rosary in the chapel. A few of us do. And
is it chapel inside the hospital?
Chapel is inside the hospital, right. It's an ecumenical chapel. And a few of us say the rosary there. And one Tuesday we were there, and we couldn't get into the chapel. It was being used for something else. So we sat on the bench outside and said the rosary out there. And pretty soon this guy comes along and he gives us a real stern look, and a few minutes later a uniformed security guard comes by and says, "No praying allowed here." We said, "Come on." Well, there was an Irish lady with us, and she said, "What do you mean? I can pray wherever I want to." And so there was an argument on this. And in the meantime, the chapel door opened up, and out come these seminarians who'd been in there at some kind of meeting, and they didn't know what to do. They didn't know which side to take, you know, on the those who are in favor of prayer and those who are against prayer in the hallways. Well, I say that as an anecdote, but nevertheless, the benches were removed, and so and the chapel has been free for us to pray ever since then. And by the way, I said Tuesday because that's the day they used to do the abortions there. There's been a lady who has prayed there for 14 years now. Abortions were done Tuesday evenings after the nurses who protested or didn't like to be involved in abortions had gone home. Now I've been told more recently that they're being done on Monday evenings between 5 and 7. I can't vouch for that, but that's what somebody told me.
Very interesting. And now, now the pro-abortionists, that they would view a video such as this and just say, "Oh, that's just religious people who oppose abortion, and therefore your voice doesn't count." How do you respond to that?
Well, killing is a political problem. I mean, our Declaration of Independence says that all men are created equal and they're endowed by the Creator with the right to life. And you can't just simply take away the right to life and say that that's all right. That's part of the natural law. We can't just go around killing people or stealing from them or anything like that. So the fact that the Ten Commandments, which Christians and Jews follow, say one of the commandments is "Thou shalt not kill," is pertinent, but really not totally relevant. I mean, we're observing the natural law when we said you shouldn't kill.
I see. Now, you've said that your assertion in our conversation earlier before this show, you said that the whole abortion era in the United States is propped up on two essential lies. What are they?
Well, in order to take away the sting of killing a human being, some people, pro-abortionists, will say, well, the baby isn't really human. It starts out as just a blob of tissue. That's what these poor girls that go in for abortions are told. And so they tried to convince them that it's not a human being that's being destroyed. And the second lie, of course, is that abortion is good for women, which is a total fallacy.
Mm-hmm. We've had many a woman on this show who would agree that it is a total fallacy.
Yeah.
Now, you had mentioned right here in Boston on Commonwealth Ave, you had some statistics regarding how many abortions are performed there at Planned Parenthood?
Well, according to the statistics put out by the Massachusetts government, there's around 9,000 abortions done in that one place, which, interestingly, is 3 times the number of killings that were done in 9/11. And the enormous turmoil, the whole United States it's turned upside down because of 9/11 when 3,000 people are killed. Yet here in one little building, 3 times that number are killed every year. And it's every day, or 3,000 people are killed or aborted every day in the United States. And so every day is really a 9/11 for unborn children, or can be.
That's really something. That gives you the magnitude of this. Now, is it incompatible for Framingham Union Hospital, to be in the business of preserving life, which is what medicine is presumably, and killing life at the same time?
I would say definitely yes.
It is compatible?
No, incompatible. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I misunderstood you. Yeah, it's certainly not compatible. And
so definitely no.
Yes, definitely no. Sorry. The specialists, the OB/GYN specialists, they're bringing life into the world, and to take this total detour, make this total about face to kill the children beforehand is totally absurd. And I just read recently a story about my alma mater's medical school, in which they've made a contract with Planned Parenthood to train the OB/GYN doctors in training at the Yale Medical School to learn how to do abortions from Planned Parenthood. Now, Planned Parenthood is the biggest abortion provider in the United States, and so they'll get lots of business. They'll get to see lots of cases, and Yale and Planned Parenthood are very happy with your relationship, which strikes me as it's just so bizarre.
Can the physician opt out of that?
Yes, the interns and residents and so forth, they can opt out of it. They still need to study the theory of it, but they can opt out of doing hands-on abortion work.
I see. Very interesting. Now, has Framingham Union Hospital bought into the pro-abortionist assertion that abortion is not as bad as killing? Do you think the hospital's bought into that?
Well, I would. Nobody has told me that directly, but I suppose so, because how can they, go around and say, well, we kill so many hundred children a year or something like this. We have so many abortions a year, yes. But people like to make a distinction between abortion and killing, and there's really no distinction.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, Charles, you've been out there for several years in front of Framingham Union Hospital, a community hospital. How can one influence Framingham Union to do an about-face and to stop doing abortions?
Well, I think our protests are a start, our vigils, and I would encourage anybody that is willing to come out and join us. It's the 3rd Saturday each month. We send out notices. And
oh, yes.
Here.
We have one right here that would like to show, if the camera could pick that up.
Yeah. And come on out, and we do exactly what I said. We go to Mass, and then we say prayers and sing hymns, and usually have a cup of coffee and go home.
Mm-hmm. Now, also, what about the management? How can you influence management? Do you letter write to management or call management? Are there board of directors that you've tried to correspond with?
Well, yes, I visited the chief executive officers and other people in the hospital, and we tried to tell them our point of view. We send letters, and this is something that anybody can do. Mm-hmm. I would particularly advise anyone who is involved with an OBGYN specialist to find out, or at least ask, if that doctor is involved in abortions either directly or whether he recommends for abortions, whether he puts people on to other doctors who do the abortions.
Referrals?
Referrals, that's the word I was searching for.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do indeed do that, they should consider finding another doctor. And you can say the same thing to your other physicians that you know, are you in favor of abortion? And just tell them, and you'd rather that they weren't. And
I see. Now, what about, well, thank you, that's fine, Charles. Now, what about as far as a boycott? In other words, reducing the amount of their business. Is there any way that you can do that, impact the local hospital by reducing their business?
I think so. That's, of course, the ultimate sanction that we can have. Metro West Medical Center is a for-profit hospital, and they depend upon the good relations with the people in the community. Now, in my own case, my doctor recommended I have a surgical procedure, a colonoscopy, and they were going to do it in the Metro West Hospital. And I said, can I do it some other place? And they said, well, yes, you can go to the Caritas Christi Hospital in Norwood, which is a Catholic hospital, which of course does not do abortions. I said, fine. Well, what was the difference? It was an extra 10 or 15 minute commute for me, so it was hardly any hardship at all. And it was the same doctor, by the way, who did the process in Metro West and out there. So that's what people can do. They can look into going elsewhere, and they can at least talk about it and tell their doctors, we would rather go to hospitals where abortions are not done.
As it stands right now, what percentage of hospitals do abortions in the United States, and what percentage doesn't, I guess?
Well, I just looked that figure up recently, and I was surprised to find that 86% of the hospitals in the United States do not do abortions.
Do not do.
Do not do abortions. And so Metro West, the Framingham Union Hospital, falls in the category of the 14% that do. And we'd like to get them over in the majority.
I see.
For the 86 that do not do them.
I see. Very interesting, Charles. Well, was there anything else that you'd like to mention regarding some of these statistics that you had looked up recently?
Well, I don't know. Yes, the sad thing is that one pregnancy in 4, 25%, result in an abortion. Mm-hmm. And the womb, instead of being a safe, nurturing place for all children, in at least 25% of the cases, is a place where they get killed, which is, it's very sad to think about this. Another thing is we have now a eugenics program trying to get rid of children that are not quite perfect. I mean, including those that have, serious problems like spina bifida or Down syndrome. Pregnant women are encouraged to have exams to see if they have these. And if they do, then they are very often encouraged to abort their children. And it is made to be a duty for them. Not just an option, but you must get rid of that child. We don't want to have another handicapped person in the world brought into the world.
We're going to be doing a show on that, I keep promising, and because it's something that from the eugenics side, having these designer babies, that's just not the way a society really should be. Anyways, in closing, we hope you learned a lot about who and why folks are protesting in front of their local community hospitals today. Should you have any questions for or like to get involved with Charles Coudert, he can be reached via email. Let's see, his email is coudert@aol.com. And if you'd like to get involved with MCFL in your community, you can start by contacting MCFL at 617-242-4199 or visit Mass Citizens for Life's website at masscitizensforlife.org. And also, we have a new website, an additional website we'd like you to check out. It's called lifematterstv.org. So be our guest and click on and take a look. It's under construction still, but it's up and running. Finally, we hope that you will inform others about our show, Life Matters. We're confident that if people know the truth, they will ultimately change their hearts and minds to pure love and kindness for the unborn, the sick and the infirm, the elderly, and all humanity. Thanks for watching. I'm Brendan O'Connell, your friend for life.